Does he have a political future in taking on Prime Minister Modi again? ये लंबे रेस का घोड़ा है, ये फ्यूचर में हमारे लिए थ्रेट बन सकता है. Views expressed in this blog are hosted on my own website, are strictly personal and do not reflect the views of any organization. Namaskar. Hello and welcome friends to Straight Bat, my weekly video blog where, as the title suggests, I comment with a straight bat. Now, over the last few days, a lot of the political attention has been on one man, Arvind Kejriwal, the Aam Aadmi Party leader and Delhi Chief Minister who was arrested a few days ago by the Enforcement Directorate in the Delhi liquor policy case. Now, lots of questions have swirled around Kejriwal. Is he guilty? Did he take the money and plenty more, or is he being fixed by someone? Is this vindictive vendetta politics? I'm not going to get into those questions because I want to today tell you a more interesting angle, or what I think is an interesting angle to this story: Modi versus Kejriwal. Now, it appears to many that Mr. Modi and Mr. Kejriwal are Jani Dushman. 36 ka aakda, as they say in Hindi, permanent enemies, in a way, adversaries. That's an interesting thought, but let me take you back and rewind to around 2011-12. Arvind Kejriwal comes on the national scene as the leader of India Against Corruption, with Anna Hazare as his face. The India Against Corruption movement takes on the Congress and Manmohan Singh's government. They constantly attack that government on corruption, and that is the beginning of the end of the Manmohan Singh government. What happens next? Narendra Modi, fresh of a victory in Gujarat in December 2012, projects himself as an anti-corruption crusader, and in a way the space that has been created by Arvind Kejriwal through his India Against Corruption agitation is occupied by Prime Minister Modi, or then Chief Minister Modi. It's very interesting. Prashant Bhushan, who was also an India Against Corruption activist, once told me that he realized later that the RSS and the BJP were involved with India Against Corruption in propping it up, in getting the crowds there. The Vivekanand Foundation, which is a right-wing foundation of which Ajit Doval, now National Security Advisor, was then the president of Vivekanand Foundation and a leading light of it. And they too supported Mr. Kejriwal, claiming he was taking on corruption. All of that enabled the BJP to win the 2014 elections. And in that 2014 election, Arvind Kejriwal took on Prime Minister Modi in Varanasi. And an interesting story I wish to share with you was, during that election, I met an old BJP RSS hand there. And he said, Rajdeep ji, Kejriwal Varanasi to harenge. But the fact is, ये लंबे रेस का घोड़ा है, ये फ्यूचर में हमारे लिए थ्रेट बन सकता है. He can be a threat for us in the future. And I asked him why. He said, look at the similarities, Rajdeep ji, between Kejriwal's rise and that, in a way, of Mr. Modi. Both of them are claiming to be anti-establishment, anti-corruption crusaders. Both of them are targeting and building a middle-class constituency for themselves. Both of them do not come with the baggage of dynasty. एक दिन तो आएगा जब मोदी वर्सेस केजरीवाल का टक्कर नेशनल लेवल पर होगा. Well, that was in Varanasi 2014. Mr. Modi won that round decisively. Come to 2015. This time Arvind Kejriwal wins the Delhi elections decisively, a huge majority, and wins therefore round 2 against Prime Minister Modi. Buoyed by that, feeling charged up, Mr. Kejriwal then targets Prime Minister Modi once again. You will recall, after an alleged CBI raid, he says Prime Minister Modi is scared of me, he's a coward and a psychopath.
उनको अरुण जेटली जी की फाइल ढूंढने के लिए आए थे ये लोग। इनको कोई लेना देना नहीं है अरे राजेंद्र ने क्या ठेके दिए थे। अरे राजेंद्र ने ठेके दिए थे अगर 2007 में, तो 2015 तक क्या कर रहे थे मोदी जी? आपकी सरकार आए हुए तो बहुत दिन हो गए। अब 2015 तक आपने, मैं आपको बता दूं मोदी जी, आपने दूसरों को तो डरा दिया सीबीआई से। केजरीवाल नहीं डरने वाला। आपको पता नहीं है मैं किस मिट्टी का बनाऊं। केजरीवाल नहीं डरने वाला। आखिरी सांस तक मैं मर मिटूंगा, देश के लिए लड़ता रहूंगा, लेकिन और मैं मोदी जी के इन सीबीआई और टुटपंजियों से और इन गीदड़ भभकियों से नहीं डरने वाला।
Very strong words which I am told angered Mr. Modi greatly. And at that moment, Mr. Modi was determined to somehow or the other teach Kejriwal a lesson. By 2017, Arvind Kejriwal realizes slowly that this strategy of targeting Mr. Modi on every issue is not working. He loses the Punjab elections, he loses importantly the MCD elections. Kejriwal decides to change his strategy again. He's a clever politician. What does he do? He decides, I'm not going to take on Mr. Modi. Instead, I'm now going to occupy the opposition space, and the only way I can do it is not by competing with Mr. Modi and the RSS BJP Hindutva forces, but by somehow or the other taking on the Congress. Between 2017 and right up to 2020, Arvind Kejriwal, at the risk of being called the BJP's B team, is very careful in taking on the Modi establishment. He is even accused of playing soft Hindu politics. He supports the government on Article 370's abrogation, doesn't say a word on Citizenship Amendment Act, or nothing strong at least, doesn't openly support the Shaheen Bagh agitation for example, doesn't take a firm stand during the Delhi Northeast riots of 2020. Kejriwal is cultivating a Hindu vote bank even as he is slowly eroding the Congress vote bank in Delhi and, as we've seen later, even in Punjab in 2022. When Kejriwal wins Punjab, he suddenly gets buoyed up again in 2022. Now he decides, अब फिर से मोदी जी को टक्कर देंगे. What does he do? Steps into Gujarat. Decides that he's going to become the challenger in Mr. Modi's home turf. He only partly succeeds, gets 5 seats but 13% of the vote, eroding in a sense once again the Congress's vote. The BJP at this stage realizes that Mr. Kejriwal could be a long-term threat. In August 2022, the Delhi liquor policy case alleged scam explodes. Kejriwal suddenly finds one by one the people around him being encircled. Manish Sisodia, Satyendra Jain. Others are finding themselves being brought within the fold of this Delhi liquor policy case. That's when Kejriwal once again backtracks. Kejriwal recognizes now that he needs the Congress. He needs to be part of a wider opposition alliance. The India alliance provides him that opportunity, which is why Kejriwal has now actually tied up with the Congress in Delhi, even agreeing to seat sharing with the Congress. All of this leads me to where I started off. Arvind Kejriwal, now arrested, does he have a political future in taking on Prime Minister Modi again? This is the question I posed to the same individual who in Varanasi had told me Kejriwal lambai race ka ghoda hai. The individual admitted Kejriwal ji ne galtiyan ki hai. He tried to scale up too fast, too soon, was over ambitious, made mistakes, should have kept a lower profile at times. But the same individual also told me, Rajdeep ji, what if Kejriwal ji now gets sympathy because he's been in jail and is able to build on that? And what if the Congress doesn't get more than 50 to 60 seats in the Lok Sabha elections? 3 consecutive defeats could weaken the Congress, open up the opposition space, and create the possibility of a new challenger emerging before Prime Minister Modi in 2029. According to this leader, केजरीवाल की असली लड़ाई अब नहीं है, 2029 में है. My only question is, can Kejriwal and the Aam Aadmi Party survive till then? Because there are now serious questions over the Aam Aadmi Party's core anti-corruption plank. There are serious questions whether the party has the organizational depth or the ideological clarity to actually be able to challenge Prime Minister Modi. Because you cannot take on the BJP unless you have ideological clarity and organizational depth. Yes, if the Congress loses again in 2024, they are in trouble. But will Kejriwal be the person who is able to occupy that space and become the challenger in 2029? The next year will decide whether Kejriwal's career is over or whether he can rise once again. That battle, Kejriwal versus Modi, may not yet be over. Think about it. That was the Straight Bat. Do of course subscribe to my YouTube channel for many more such videos. For now, stay well, stay safe. Jai Hind, Namaskar.